GM's best truck invention failed horribly, and here's the reason why. The invention was supposed to revolutionize the trucking world, giving full-size trucks the agility of compact cars. Instead, it failed almost overnight in one of the industry's most shocking failures. But why did a system with so much potential fail to take off? What mistakes did GM make in rolling out one of the most innovative features of the early 2000s? And most importantly, what does its failure mean for innovation in the automotive world? And how does it still affect trucks today? Buckle up, because this is the story of an invention that could have redefined trucks forever, and by what shocking reason it failed. What's happening? Quadra-Steer, GM's revolutionary four-wheel steering system, was introduced with grand ambitions. Developed with Delphi Automotive, a company known for cutting-edge automotive components, the system promised to change the way people viewed and drove trucks. At its core, Quadra-Steer allowed the rear wheels of a truck to turn in coordination with the front wheels, depending on the speed. At low speeds, the rear wheels turned in the opposite direction of the front wheels, drastically reducing the turning radius. At high speeds, the rear wheels turned in the same direction as the front wheels, improving stability and control. This groundbreaking system debuted in 2002 on the GMC Sierra Denali, a full-size truck already known for its power and premium features. GM hailed it as a game changer, and on paper, it seemed like a surefire success. But despite the initial excitement, something went terribly wrong. By 2005, Quadra-Steer was all but gone, a victim of high costs, poor market timing, and a lack of consumer understanding. The rise and fall. The first and most glaring issue with Quadra-Steer was its cost. At launch, the system added nearly $6,000 to the price of a truck, equivalent to over $10,000 today. For many buyers, this was a price tag they simply couldn't justify, especially in the early 2000s when luxury trucks were still a niche market. Another problem was confusion over availability. Quadra-Steer wasn't offered across GM's entire truck lineup, and its compatibility varied by model and year. For instance, it was available on the GMC Sierra Denali, certain Silverados, and specific Suburban and Yukon models, but only in configurations with rear leaf spring suspensions. This limited its appeal and created logistical challenges for dealerships. Marketing missteps compounded the problem. While Quadra-Steer had clear benefits, GM struggled to communicate these to the average truck buyer. Many consumers didn't fully understand what the system did or why it was worth the premium price. Finally, there was skepticism about reliability. Although Quadra-Steer proved to be durable for those who used it, early adopters were hesitant to invest in such an advanced system without a clear track record. Quadra-Steer's failure and the future of trucks. The failure of Quadra-Steer wasn't just a blow to GM, it was a cautionary tale for the entire automotive industry. For truck enthusiasts, it meant losing out on a feature that could have made towing and maneuvering easier and safer. Imagine the frustration of a driver trying to navigate a crowded parking lot or make a sharp turn with a trailer in tow. Quadra-Steer could have solved these problems, but its high cost and limited adoption meant most truck buyers never got to experience its benefits. For the industry, Quadra-Steer's failure highlighted the challenges of introducing advanced technology. Innovation is risky, especially when it comes with a hefty price tag and requires educating consumers. Other automakers took note, and many became more cautious about rolling out similarly ambitious features. But the story of Quadra-Steer doesn't end here. Its impact on the truck market and its dedicated fan base continues to resonate. The question is, could a system like this ever make a comeback? Quadra-Steer may have failed, but its story is far from over. What caused GM's boldest innovation to crash and burn, and why did it disappear almost overnight? Let's uncover the full story behind the rise and fall of Quadra-Steer. What went wrong with Quadra-Steer? While Quadra-Steer began with high hopes, it quickly unraveled due to a combination of factors that GM simply could not overcome. One of the most significant hurdles was its price. Introduced in the year 2002, the system added a staggering $6,000 to the price of a vehicle. Adjusted for inflation, that would be over $10,000 in 2024. This price tag placed Quadra-Steer squarely out of reach for the average truck buyer. At the time, the market for trucks was vastly different from what we see today. Luxury trucks were not yet the norm, and the concept of spending extra money on a feature like four-wheel steering was unthinkable for many buyers. Trucks were primarily seen as workhorses, valued for their durability and towing capacity, not for technological innovations that came with hefty price tags. The system's limited availability added another layer of complexity. Unlike today, when most technological features are integrated across an entire lineup, Quadra-Steer was only offered on select models and configurations. It was first introduced in the GMC Sierra Denali, a high-end truck aimed at a niche audience. Later, it became available on other models, such as the Chevrolet Silverado and select versions of the Chevrolet Suburban and GMC Yukon. However, these offerings were tied to specific trims and suspension types, such as the rear leaf spring suspension. This narrow availability made it difficult for consumers to access the feature and created confusion about which vehicles actually included it. Adding to the woes was GM's inconsistent marketing strategy. The automaker struggled to convey the advantages of quadra-steer to potential buyers. While enthusiasts understood the benefits of a smaller turning radius and improved towing stability, the average truck buyer saw little reason to justify the additional cost. GM failed to clearly communicate how the system could simplify everyday tasks like navigating tight parking lots or towing trailers, leaving many buyers unaware of its practical applications. Consumer hesitation, the combination of high costs, limited availability, and poor marketing led to widespread consumer hesitation. For a typical truck buyer in the early 2000s, the decision to invest in quadra-steer often boiled down to practicality. Why spend thousands of dollars on a feature that seemed unnecessary for everyday use? While quadra-steer was a marvel of engineering, it was a solution to problems that many buyers did not perceive as urgent. Most drivers were accustomed to managing their vehicle's turning radii or navigating tight spaces without additional technological assistance. Those who towed heavy loads, a segment of the market that would have benefited most from quadra-steer, often opted for more straightforward solutions like standard tow packages or larger trucks with higher towing capacities. This lack of perceived necessity made it difficult for GM to convince buyers that quadra-steer was worth the investment. The automaker's pricing strategy did little to help. By the time GM reduced the cost of the system to $2,000 and eventually $1,000, the damage had already been done. Early adopters were few and far between, and the broader market had largely moved on. Another factor that contributed to consumer hesitation was the rapid evolution of the truck market itself. The early 2000s saw a shift in consumer preferences, with buyers beginning to demand more comfort and convenience features in their vehicles. While quadra-steer was undoubtedly innovative, it did not align perfectly with these emerging trends. Buyers were more interested in plush interiors, advanced entertainment systems, and improved fuel efficiency than in four-wheel steering. In the absence of strong incentives or dealer support, quadra-steer struggled to find its footing. Dealers often prioritized selling higher margin models without the system, further limiting its reach. For many, the promise of a smoother turning radius or better towing stability simply wasn't enough to justify the cost or the effort of understanding a relatively complex feature. GM's strategic missteps. GM's handling of quadra-steer also left much to be desired. The automaker made several strategic missteps that undermined the system's potential. One of the most glaring errors was its failure to integrate quadra-steer across a broader range of vehicles. By limiting the feature to specific trims and configurations, GM effectively sidelined it from the mainstream market. The company's approach to pricing was equally problematic. By setting an initial cost of $6,000, GM positioned quadra-steer as a luxury add-on rather than a practical tool. This pricing strategy alienated a significant portion of the truck buying audience, who viewed it as an unnecessary extravagance. When GM finally lowered the cost of the system, it was too little, too late. By that point, consumer interest had waned, and the market had shifted toward other innovations. The automaker's decision to reduce prices only in the system's final years further eroded its value, reinforcing the perception that it was a failed experiment rather than a groundbreaking feature. Another critical misstep was GM's lack of dealer support. Dealerships are often the front line for educating consumers about new technologies, but in the case of quadra-steer, many dealers lack the resources or motivation to promote the system. Without adequate training or incentives, sales staff struggled to explain the benefits of quadra-steer to potential buyers, leaving many to dismiss it as an unnecessary complication. The absence of a comprehensive marketing campaign further compounded the issue. While GM produced some advertisements highlighting quadra-steer's capabilities, these efforts fell short of building widespread awareness or excitement. The lack of a clear, cohesive message about the system's advantages left it overshadowed by other innovations and market trends. The tipping point. By the year 2004, the writing was on the wall. Despite a small but dedicated fan base, quadra-steer was no longer a viable product for GM. The system's high costs, limited adoption, and poor market performance made it increasingly difficult to justify its continued development. Peak sales occurred in 2004, with the GMC Yukon XL being the most popular model equipped with quadra-steer. However, even this modest success was not enough to offset the broader challenges. In its final year, less than 20% of Yukon XL buyers opted for the system, and adoption rates for other models were even lower. In 2005, GM officially discontinued quadra-steer, marking the end of one of the most ambitious innovations in the company's history. For truck enthusiasts and automotive historians, the system's demise remains a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by even the most promising technologies. A legacy of innovation. While quadra-steer's story ended in failure, its legacy endures in the memories of those who experienced it firsthand. Enthusiasts continue to praise the system for its unique capabilities, from executing tight U-turns to enhancing towing stability. Many owners of quadra-steer-equipped vehicles describe it as a feature they can't live without, and the rarity of these trucks has made them collector's items in the years since their discontinuation. The system's influence can also be seen in the broader automotive industry. Quadra-steer demonstrated the potential of advanced steering technologies and paved the way for future innovations. While GM's implementation may have faltered, the concept of four-wheel steering remains relevant, particularly in the context of electric vehicles and luxury SUVs. Perhaps the most significant lesson from quadra-steer's rise and fall is the importance of timing and market readiness. The system was undeniably ahead of its time, introduced at a moment when the truck market was not yet prepared to embrace such a radical innovation. Today, with consumers more willing to invest in advanced technologies, it's worth asking whether a system like quadra-steer could succeed if reintroduced under the right conditions. For those who did embrace quadra-steer, its failure didn't diminish its brilliance. Why do fans still rave about this forgotten feature, and how did it create a legacy that lives on? Let's explore the enduring impact of GM's most daring innovation, the loyal fan base. Even though quadra-steer was discontinued nearly 2 decades ago, it continues to have a passionate following among truck enthusiasts. For those who owned or still own a truck equipped with quadra-steer, the system was not just an innovative feature, it was a game changer that dramatically improved their driving experience. Owners consistently praise quadra-steer for its ability to handle tasks that other trucks struggle with. Towing, a common challenge for many drivers, becomes a breeze with quadra-steer. The precision it offers when backing up a trailer or maneuvering into tight spaces is unparalleled. Many owners describe it as a sensation that, once experienced, becomes difficult to live without. Take, for instance, the ability to perform a U-turn on a narrow residential street with a full-size truck, a task that would typically involve 3-point turns or significant effort. Quadra-steer made such maneuvers effortless, and this capability quickly became a favorite among drivers who regularly navigated congested urban areas or small rural roads. Quadra-steer's legacy. Quadra-steer may have been short-lived, but its impact on the automotive world is undeniable. It represented a bold leap forward in engineering, offering features that were well ahead of their time. While the system ultimately failed to gain mass market acceptance, it succeeded in carving out a unique legacy that still resonates with enthusiasts. One of the most enduring aspects of quadra-steer's legacy is its influence on the perception of trucks. Before the early 2000s, trucks were largely seen as utilitarian vehicles, tools for work, not innovation. Quadra-steer challenged this notion by introducing advanced technology into a segment that had traditionally lagged behind cars and SUVs in terms of features. For owners, quadra-steer was a source of pride. The distinctiveness of having a truck with four-wheel steering made these vehicles stand out in a crowd. Today, spotting a quadra-steer-equipped GMC Sierra or Chevrolet Silverado is like finding a rare gem, one that immediately sparks admiration and curiosity among enthusiasts. Another fascinating aspect of quadra-steer's legacy is its rarity. Because the system was only available for a few years and on select models, trucks equipped with quadra-steer have become collector's items. This rarity has contributed to their value, with well-maintained examples fetching premium prices on the used market. Comparisons with other four-wheel steering systems. Quadra-steer wasn't the first attempt at four-wheel steering, nor was it the last. Other automakers had experimented with similar systems, each with its own unique twist. Nissan, for example, introduced its high-capacity actively controlled steering system, commonly known as HiCAS, on performance cars like the Nissan 300ZX and Nissan GT-R. While quadra-steer was focused on utility and practicality, HiCAS was designed for performance, offering enhanced cornering and stability. The two systems were developed with entirely different goals, but both demonstrated the potential of four-wheel steering. Honda also dabbled in four-wheel steering, equipping its Honda Prelude with a mechanical system that improved handling and maneuverability. Unlike Quadra-Steer, which was aimed at large vehicles like trucks and SUVs, Honda's system targeted compact cars and driving enthusiasts. The key difference between these systems and Quadra-Steer was their focus. Where Heikes and Honda's technology prioritized performance and handling, Quadra-Steer was built for practicality, towing, turning, and stability at high speeds. This utilitarian focus set Quadra-Steer apart, but it also limited its appeal to a niche audience. Today, four-wheel steering is making a comeback, particularly in electric vehicles and luxury SUVs. Automakers like Mercedes-Benz and Audi have integrated advanced systems into their flagship models, proving that the concept still has relevance. While these modern systems are more refined and better marketed, they owe a debt to pioneers like Quadra-Steer, which demonstrated the real-world benefits of four-wheel steering, a system ahead of its time. One of the most poignant aspects of Quadra-Steer's story is how it was, in many ways, ahead of its time. In the early 2000s, the truck market wasn't ready for a feature like Quadra-Steer. Buyers were more focused on affordability and practicality than on advanced technology, especially one with a price tag that rivaled entire trim upgrades. Fast forward to the 2020s, and the market looks very different. Today's truck buyers are far more willing to invest in luxury features and advanced technologies. Systems like adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and even fully electric powertrains are now commonplace in trucks, features that would have seemed extravagant 20 years ago. Had Quadra-Steer been introduced in this era, it's easy to imagine a very different outcome. With modern advancements in technology and manufacturing, the system could likely be offered at a much lower cost, making it accessible to a wider audience. Coupled with better marketing and consumer education, Quadra-Steer might have found the success that eluded it in the early 2000s, an enduring enthusiast community. Despite its commercial failure, Quadra-Steer has inspired a dedicated community of enthusiasts who keep the system's memory alive. Online forums, social media groups, and truck clubs frequently feature discussions about Quadra-Steer-equipped vehicles, with owners sharing tips for maintenance and showcasing their prized trucks. For many, owning a Quadra-Steer truck is a badge of honor, a testament to their appreciation for innovation and their love of unique automotive features. These owners often go to great lengths to preserve their vehicles, even as parts become harder to find and maintenance costs rise. The passion of these enthusiasts underscores the impact that Quadra-Steer had on those who experienced it firsthand. While the system may have been a commercial misstep, it succeeded in creating a loyal fan base that continues to celebrate its achievements. Quadra-Steer may be a relic of the past, but its story is far from over. What lessons can we learn from its failure, and could we see a resurgence of four-wheel steering in the trucks of tomorrow? Let's talk about how this innovation could shape the future of the automotive industry. What we learned from Quadra-Steer. The story of Quadra-Steer is more than just a tale of an innovative feature that failed. It is a case study in the challenges of introducing new technology into a market that might not yet be ready for it. The lessons from Quadra-Steer's rise and fall are as relevant today as they were in the early 2000s, offering insights for automakers and innovators alike. First and foremost, Quadra-Steer highlighted the importance of pricing strategy. By setting the initial cost at $6,000, nearly $10,000 in today's money, General Motors effectively alienated a large portion of its target market. Pricing a feature out of reach of mainstream buyers can create an insurmountable barrier, no matter how groundbreaking the technology is. The system also underscored the necessity of clear and effective communication. General Motors struggled to articulate the practical benefits of Quadra-Steer to everyday truck owners. While enthusiasts understood its value for towing and maneuvering, the average buyer saw it as an expensive add-on they could live without. Automakers introducing new features must ensure that consumers not only understand how the technology works, but also how it will improve their daily lives. The comeback potential of four-wheel steering. Although Quadra-Steer failed in its time, the concept of four-wheel steering is far from obsolete. In fact, it is enjoying a resurgence in modern vehicles, particularly in the luxury and electric segments. The renewed interest in this technology raises an intriguing question. Could a system like Quadra-Steer make a comeback in today's truck market? Advances in technology and manufacturing have significantly lowered the cost of implementing four-wheel steering systems. What was once a premium feature reserved for high-end models can now be integrated more affordably, making it accessible to a broader range of consumers. Modern systems are also more compact and efficient, addressing some of the logistical challenges that plagued Quadra-Steer's earlier designs. The rise of electric vehicles has further fueled interest in four-wheel steering. With their heavy batteries and unique chassis designs, electric trucks and SUVs benefit greatly from the improved maneuverability and stability that four-wheel steering provides. Companies like Rivian, Tesla, and General Motors itself are already exploring advanced steering technologies for their electric models, suggesting that a quadra-steer-style system could find a receptive audience in this new era. Consumer attitudes have also shifted dramatically since the early 2000s. Today's truck buyers are more willing to invest in features that enhance convenience, safety, and performance. Four-wheel steering aligns perfectly with these priorities, offering tangible benefits for tasks like towing, parking, and navigating tight spaces. If General Motors were to reintroduce Quadra Steer, it would need to do so with a clear strategy. The system would have to be priced competitively, marketed effectively, and integrated across a wide range of models to maximize its appeal. With the right approach, Quadra Steer, or a modern iteration of it, could finally achieve the success that eluded it 2 decades ago. Broader implications. The lessons of Quadra Steer extend beyond four-wheel steering, offering valuable insights for the automotive industry as a whole. Innovation is the lifeblood of the auto world, but it is also fraught with challenges. For every success story like the anti-lock braking system or adaptive cruise control, there are countless innovations that failed to gain traction. One of the key challenges is balancing innovation with profitability. Automakers must navigate the fine line between introducing cutting-edge features and ensuring that these features are financially viable. This requires careful consideration of production costs, pricing strategies, and market demand, a balancing act that General Motors struggled with during Quadra Steer's rollout. Another challenge is overcoming consumer skepticism. New technologies often face resistance from buyers who are hesitant to adopt unproven systems. Building trust is essential, and this requires a combination of effective marketing, transparent communication, and real-world demonstrations of a feature's value. Quadra Steer also highlights the importance of adaptability. Markets evolve and consumer preferences change. Automakers that fail to adapt risk being left behind, as General Motors discovered with Quadra Steer. By staying attuned to emerging trends and maintaining flexibility, companies can position themselves to capitalize on opportunities rather than being caught off guard by shifting demands. Finally, the Quadra Steer story serves as a reminder of the enduring power of innovation. Even when new ideas fail, they often lay the groundwork for future success. The concepts behind Quadra Steer continue to influence modern vehicle design, proving that no innovation is ever truly wasted. The future of truck innovation. As the automotive industry continues to evolve, the future of truck innovation looks brighter than ever. Features that once seemed like science fiction, autonomous driving, all-electric powertrains, and advanced steering systems are rapidly becoming reality. In this context, the story of Quadra Steer feels more relevant than ever. Imagine a future where four-wheel steering becomes a standard feature on trucks, enhancing safety and convenience for drivers everywhere. Picture a world where technologies like Quadra Steer are seamlessly integrated into electric and autonomous vehicles, pushing the boundaries of what trucks can do. This vision may not be as far off as it seems. General Motors has already signaled its commitment to innovation with projects like the all-electric Chevrolet Silverado and the GMC Hummer electric vehicle. These vehicles incorporate advanced steering systems and other cutting-edge technologies, proving that the spirit of Quadra Steer lives on. The success of these initiatives will depend on the lessons learned from the past. By addressing the mistakes made during Quadra Steer's rollout, automakers can ensure that the next generation of innovations reaches its full potential. This means prioritizing affordability, communicating benefits effectively, and staying attuned to the needs of modern consumers. For truck enthusiasts, the possibilities are exciting. The failure of Quadra Steer may have been a setback, but it also paved the way for a future where four-wheel steering and other advanced features become integral to the truck experience. Quadra Steer may be gone, but its legacy endures. Could this forgotten innovation inspire the next big breakthrough in the truck world? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the road ahead is full of possibilities.